Hey guys, the Art of Chris Bryant here. And I kind of ran into a problem that I thought would be an excellent video. And it's about animation. So it's basically should appeal to those who are kind of new to animation or those who aren't so new, but you guys are kind of trying to get more and more comfortable with body locomotions. So I ran into this problem while animating a uppercut. And so I did two versions to kind of show you guys. So I'm going to show you the first one. This one I use real life reference, and I basically tried to get it posed for pose, which pose I thought were the key poses. And as you can see, it gets a little wonky, like right in here, like right there. And basically, I found this problem because I was trying to draw the poses the exact same as real life, when sometimes real life isn't exactly what animation needs. Okay, so here is the pose. The reference I use. So as you can see, boom. So she's doing the uppercut, and of course I have the stance right here. We keep going. She comes out and she's kind of like drawing up. That was like a little in between, but boom. So she's kind of stepping out. And actually, right here, I begin to notice some of my issues. Well, as far as, let me get a color red. If you notice my hips, and so I'm just now really like getting more and more into this. But if you notice the hips from the first and second, it's not. It's a quite a bit difference as far as verticality. So it goes from here. Actually, let me just do this on another. So it goes from here to here. So as far as verticals go, it's making quite a difference. However, as far as horizontal, it's pretty close. There's not much of a change. And if I were to just drag this up, it barely made a change at all. And so that's one thing. When you're animating is really about making change, and you want the audience to see the change. If you don't really see the change, then you're not really your animation is not as good as it can get. Another thing I want to go over is basically these arcs in the body. So the arcs in the body are pretty much, these are what we call line of action. So you want your line of action to be really strong, but you don't want to make it do what I just did. Is you see we have a great C curve going one direction, and then next we have a S curve going like this. And if you notice, my animation feels like really janky right around here, and that's because of that little flick. Now, of course, you can throw in some in betweens, and it may not look that bad, but the idea is your keys should show the animation. Like your keys should be amazing already, and then the in betweens and all the other stuff is like icing on the top. So as you can see, it looks like my figure is kind of really like flopping up and down right here. And then this arm over here reinforced that idea. This arm right here, because it just goes up and it comes down just a little bit. Just a little. and everything feels like it's all choppy and and things like that. And that's really because, as I've said before, you really want your action lines as well as like everything to support that motion. So the motion being this uppercut, I should follow this hand right here. Okay, so actually, let me just delete this. Here we go. So we should follow this hand right here, okay? Boom. Here we go. And this hand should make a very nice arc. And this will kind of show you why my animation isn't as good as it could be in this version. Okay, so if we look, it's kind of making a nice little arc, except for right in here, like right when it's 2, 3, and 4. So from 2 to 3, as you can see, it's a small arc, but it's not too much, and it kind of looks like a it's almost close to a straight line. And then from 2 to 4, again, it's a small arc, but it's almost a straight line. And so you get this zigzag. And whenever you get this zigzag effect, that's when your animation is going to feel jaggy. So that's a good way to check it. And if you see right in that area, it really starts to get kind of, a little choppy. Okay? So now I want to go and show you guys how it should look. Alright, so this is another animation I did of an uppercut. However, if you notice, my line of action, they all support, basically, they all support the animation. So here we have like this S curve. Okay. Then here we have another really good S curve. It's staying within there. Alright. And then here we're starting to get that change to the C curve. So as you can see, there's like just one big change. So it goes from S curve, all the way up to a good C curve, and then we get relaxed. Okay? And then if we follow the path of the hand, not this one. Sorry. If we follow the path of the hand, so the hand would be kind of somewhere in here. This is kind of like a little cheat because it's hidden by the body. But if you start following this path, as you can see, it makes like this nice little curve. And it goes up, comes around. And if I really wanted to make this curve even much better on a breakdown, I would put a line like, well, its fist kind of like right here. And that would kind of make the, the swirl goes really smooth. And so as you can see, my line of action support the motion. My hand is following this nice arc. And if I play this back, it's going to look way more fluid than the other one. It's just one solid motion. And as you can see the motion and everything within just the keys. Now, as you can see with just the keys, it's a little choppy, but you get the feel for the animation. You feel that uppercut. And that's basically what the keys are. And then once I started adding my breakdowns, once I started adding my in-betweens, basically it'll just smooth on out. But this is the core of your animation, is getting these keys correct. And that's why we can go from this uppercut, which looks very janky, very, rigid, very choppy, over to this one that looks very smooth. You understand the action, and it's all right there. And then another thing I want to kind of talk about is actually drawing for animation. As you can see right here, one thing I did wrong was I went into major details on the body. Not trying to get like super anatomical or anything, but if you just look at my body, I really started caring a lot about the anatomy, and I really tried to get like muscles in the leg and stuff like this within my first pass, which you should never try to do because that's just too much information. What you want to do is focus on the motion. So here, as you can see, this body, it has hardly any details compared to this one, but I focus solely on the motion, and as you can see, it comes out. Now I still have some proportions and stuff I think of, and that's why you can see the boxes underneath, just to kind of see how the shoulders and everything is shifting into space. But I think of the body more as a shape instead of anatomy. Okay, so I think more towards, hey, what shape is the body making at the time instead of anatomy, and basically just kind of showing the difference. If I'm thinking anatomy, you'll start seeing a lot of my lines kind of trying to, even if it isn't as detailed as a finished piece, but you'll start seeing my lines trying to show some kind of detail, some kind of form. Whereas when I say a shape, I leave it literally as this shape here. That's all I'm thinking. How does this shape go into space? And if I try to make this anatomy before I think of my shape, so actually I'm doing it the opposite way of how I was doing it at first. If I try to just think of anatomy, into space, is really, really tough. I could probably do it a little bit as far as, hey, I've been studying this for a little while, but it won't really, it's not practical, basically. It's making my job harder than it should be. Now, if I think of just the shape in space, as you can see, it's much quicker, much faster. I got it down, and I'm able to just think about just, oh, I can see it's starting to flip a little bit, and then if I wanted to lean forward, you see, I could start getting it to lean. And as far as this, if I wanted to lean forward, again, if you practice anatomy enough, maybe, yeah, you'll start being able to do it, but it's just not practical. And when you think of all of these details at one time, as you can see, the body usually would, being like this, but because I'm thinking of so many details, I may even forget to make the body bend. I'll just, do some weird looking anatomy. And so I just wanted to make this quick video to kind of go over this with you guys, and I made a few notes. Whereas my legs were kind of getting, as far as my in betweens and stuff, they weren't in the right places. My hips, again, they weren't moving too far. The shapes in the body were kind of wonky. The hand was getting out of the arc, the movement arc, and that was kind of making it, look a little Yankee. And then even just my C line, I should have talked about this earlier. Even just my C line is almost like a straight line. And this is one of the things where exaggeration in animation really takes part, because and I'll kind of like do a figure on top of here, because what I could have done is really push that arc in the body as well as in the legs. I could have just pushed this leg out to here, and as you can see, maybe even push this leg up, and as you can see, it's really making a difference. Even the arm, I could have bent it a little bit more, and you can really see that it's I'm really putting emphasis on it. So those are the things you kind of want to think about, whether it's your whether it's basically your arc, as far as the body. Okay, then I call it the motion arc. I think everyone calls that. But the motion arc, like basically the movement of the body, it wants to follow a nice flow. You don't want it to kind of go, in a zigzag motion, right? And then another thing is you want simplified uh, anatomy to just make it more practical, make it easier for you to focus on the motion. So that's all I wanted to kind of talk to you guys today. And also, my bad, last one, sorry. As far as real life reference, you want to exaggerate it. Exaggerate. You want to kind of exaggerate the real life. Sorry, guys, I write kind of horrible. But you want to exaggerate the poses and make sure that all of these are working in harmony. That's what you want to do. If they're not working in harmony, then basically your animation may end up looking like this. I mean, there's some cases where you can, do it and it'll come out looking all right. But if you want a more consistent, practice, you want to kind of get this down pat. You kind of want to make this into a habit, because that's how you can go from this to this. Thank you guys for your time. Please like, subscribe, comment, and let me know what you guys think about this video, and if you'd like to see more of things like this. Thank you.